Number two. Number two, I'm.
Number one song 21 years ago.
50 Cent?
Yeah.
He was Eminem's project.
50 Cent was Eminem's project?
Yes.
Okay, because I know...
Eminem was Dr. Dre's project, and that 50 Cent was Eminem's project.
So, guy who is part owner of... Well, that would be fair because they're... In this video, I think they have... I'm looking at it, so I'm cheating. Dr. Dre, Eminem looking down as they're doing... Okay, that
Vitamin Water was 50 Cent's project.
Yes. But so there's this guy, Jesse Itzler, who wrote who I've talked about before. He's married to the woman who owns Spanx. They're now... I don't know what percentage, but they own the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
They're probably not... I don't think they're majority owners, but they own the Atlanta Hawks. And he had his own, I think, record label, Jesse. He was trying to be a rapper. He got a deal in L.A., kind of fell through, and then he wound up writing, like, Go New York Go.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got a
the
couple
New York
other...
Knicks, yeah.
Yeah, and he got a bunch of other teams to jump on that. Well, then he started his own company, a jingle writing company, and his intern was 50 Cent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So years later,
before or after he got shot?
I don't know. So I don't know that. So this is how the story goes, from what I understand. And then Jesse Itzler, if you know him, you probably heard this story before. So forgive me for repeating it, but it's kind of interesting. So years later, Jesse winds up traveling on a private jet, and he's like, "Whoa, like what the hell is this?" So he and his partner decide, we want to make jets affordable to everybody. So they pitch Warren Buffett's company, who own NetJet or something. And they kind of got kicked out after 12 minutes. They're like, okay, no, we're not going to do this. Because what they wanted to do was sell people basically cards that says, I'm going to buy a card, and I don't know how much it was, but let's say it's $20,000, and I get 250 flight hours on a private jet that I can use whenever I want. I just have to book it. Here's the thing, but it's through... So it's almost like a timeshare with a jet, right?
Right.
And he was calling it Marquee Jets. And somebody who's in that meeting comes out and goes, hey, don't come back. That's a great pitch. Come back. So what they did is they went and they got, like, real celebrities and stuff and did almost like a board meeting in front of everybody. Would you use this? Why? How? And so and Warren Buffett wound up investing. So years later, he finds out that 50 Cent, now in the club, traveling private jet, is on one of the private jets. So he writes him a note. He goes, hey, it's Jesse. You used to be my intern, blah, blah, blah. I hope you enjoy your flight. And after that, according to Jesse Itzler, 50 Cent wrote it in all his contracts that every flight and every tour involved Marquee Jets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Just showing you that relationship, right? I mean, just how important relationships are.
Thank you for, like, taking me under your wing.
Isn't that interesting?
Wish my interns would do that.
It's a, I thought that was...
You and I both have an intern who's like running a morning show in New York. Michael,
yeah.
On ESPN New York.
Yeah.
RJ.
Yeah. He does.
He was doing the Michael K show.
Yeah, he was. Did you? You never reached out? I didn't.
I've reached out to him a few times.
Yeah, I never. I not that I didn't. I liked RJ. I just had no interest, and I didn't want to go bouncing around in New York.
I would just text him to see how he was doing. I never asked him for nothing or.
I
one time tipped him off about something Michael K said. He said, hey, tell Michael to look into this.
Uh-huh.
And it was Billy Beane. He was the general manager of the Oakland A's. And Billy Beane famously, the godfather of analytics in sports. But he famously said, my stuff, doesn't work in the postseason. And I said, tell Michael that Billy Beane even said, when it comes to the postseason analytics, all bets are off.
So what did he say?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of, because they were talking about like how analytics sometimes gets in the way. Mm-hmm. And I was just backing up his argument because Michael K said, I love analytics, but analytics can't be used to make every decision. Sometimes you have to like kind of look at what you're doing. The Red Sox beat the Yankees in 2004. They came back because they decided to steal second base and tie the game in the ninth inning of Game 4. Well, analytics is against stealing bases.
Right.
So in other words, sometimes you got to
go with your gut.
You got to go with your gut, or look at your team and you go, okay, who are my guys? Who are my players that I need to come, go and win? Dan Campbell went extreme with the Lions the other night with analytics, and it cost him.
Yes, he did. Well, analytics going on the fourth down. The first one analytics favored. The second one analytics did not favor.
No,
not at all.
No.
So that was going with his gut. I don't know. I mean, a lot of people are beating him up about that, and I keep thinking to myself,
that wasn't his fault. His team imploded.
I like the fact that you put it in their hands. Mm-hmm. How many times do players say, "Give me the ball"? You want to feel like you're at least empowered by the boss. So many times if you lose a job or if a sale doesn't go through or something, you go, God, why did I listen? I always felt when I was on the radio, when I didn't listen is when I won. When I did listen is when I failed. Sometimes because you play scared. Yeah. Right? I don't want to upset the boss. I don't want to piss the boss off. And the boss isn't doing your job. They hired you to do your job, bring you to that job.
Right.
And that's always
like yesterday, you were talking about all those times you got suspended.
Yeah.
That's what made you memorable. If they didn't appreciate it, they would have fired you. But they just suspended. But they know, like, okay, I mean, we got a talent here. We just got to, like, every once in a while, just cool it. You and I both got suspended once because you f-bombed on the radio.
F-bombed, yes, I did. Oh, thank you. Look at this.
Yeah.
Is this Danny's plate here?
Yeah.
Danny got a plate.
I haven't had a plate in over a year, and I've never had a Jimmy Z's plate. So this is a first
Jimmy
for me.
Z's Plates and Shakes in Brockport, right on Main Street. 21 years Jimmy has been just banging away here. And
just a great American.
The food is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely phenomenal. I learned something today because a lot of times, this is now that marijuana is legal.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting
that. In a lot of places. You get the munchies, you come to Jimmy Z's.
Yeah, sure.
Or
is that how it works?
Uber Eats, come get Jimmy Z's or something like that. But today, I learned a new term. I was talking to a friend, and they said, "Do you know what a blinker is?" And I said, "No." I said, well, they got a kid who's a teenager, read the kid's phone, and it said something about doing a blinker. A blinker is, I think it's not a vape pen. It's like a marijuana pen. And you inhale until the light blinks.
It tells you.
And you're like super high. Like if you can do a blinker, it's like, whoa, man, he did a blinker. Look at how fucking cool that guy is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, well.
And I went, yeah, because you wouldn't know what a blinker is as a parent. I don't know why I somehow go, I feel like I could deduce it. But let me throw this one at you. Kibbles and bits. If you heard kids,
dog food?
Yeah, well, kibbles and bits is the term that the kids allegedly use. I don't know. I'm getting this from a news site, not kids. So it could be like, you know what I mean?
Right.
The corny old guy is going, you know what the kids are saying nowadays? Kibbles and bits. I don't know if it's
I thought it might have been a TikTok challenge to eat kibbles and bits.
No, it's the...
Is that still a thing, though, by the way? Is that still a dog food? Kibbles and bits?
Yeah.
Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
Yeah. The attention deficit disorder, ADHD drug, Ritalin. It's sometimes also referred to as pineapple, and it's kibbles and bits. So the kids are taking Ritalin, kibbles and bits.
Okay.
I don't know. Cheese. It's a mix of black tar. I've known this one, black tar, heroin, and Tylenol PM.
Okay, when you got the black, I've never done drugs in my life, never.
Heroin,
okay.
I've never touched.
So heroin, right? Yeah. All right. So you got black tar heroin, which is probably like just one of the worst or the worst ones you can do. What is the Tylenol PM supposed to add to that?
I don't know.
Okay, I don't understand this. I don't know. You know,
really. Well, any headaches,
it's like I'm doing cocaine with Pepsi.
Well, by the way, it's Tylenol PM, puts you to sleep.
Yeah, doesn't heroin do that?
I don't know.
From what I've heard,
well, I hear
that's why they invented the speedball, so you could sit up and enjoy the effect if you don't die.
Yes, that's true. Then there's a couple other ones. There's like syrup heads. It's people who use cold medicine and to get high. And I think
Jamarcus Russell,
DXM was in there. What was it? Dextromethorphan or methamphetamine, something like that. Yeah,
beyond me, dude.
Yeah, I think they make these.
I'm the
words
last guy to talk about drugs.
That's it.
I just know all
the blinker. I'm just telling you because they had this whole thing on the news, and what it reminded me, I think one of the headlines might have been our local ABC affiliate had the Hidden Dangers, and they had an of drugs, right? Hidden Dangers interactive exhibit teaches Gates Chili parents how to spot teen drug use. So they're going, where your kid may be hiding their vape pen. I remember when I was a kid.
That is important, though.
I didn't have, I didn't get high a lot. I did, but I didn't get high a lot. And somebody had given me weed, and I had a Mickey Mouse piggy bank that sat on a speaker I had hung on the wall. I had it since I was a little kid. So I shoved the weed up in the Mickey bank. And my parents would go away, and I would always have parties. Well, this one time I didn't have a party, and we lived in a very rural area, so we never locked the doors or anything. So a bunch of buddies came in, and they drank all the beer. They set up the beer cans in the wood-burning stove, found my pellet gun, started shooting at the cans, and then found my weed up Mickey's ass. And I'm like, I don't think my parents would have even looked there. I don't think they would have ever looked.
Right.
I don't know that they...
But the friends, they think like you, so...
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It takes a criminal to know a criminal. The hidden drugs, hidden dangers of drug, but they were teaching you, hey, if you kids are going to be hiding a vape pen, look in this drawer, look in that. I have no idea. I know that the vaping is a big deal. I did see today, what's the Swedish pouches, nicotine pouches? Zyn? Oh. Yeah, because they're calling them Zinfluencers online, ZYN, and I guess one of the Good Morning America or somebody had a big thing on it on how kids are getting addicted to nicotine with these Zyn patches, and you gotta. It's been that way forever.
Well, I remember when the Marlboro Man. Did the Marlboro Man ever come to your school and give a talk?
No.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you had the Marlboro Man come?
The original
How
Marlboro
fucking
Man.
Cool.
Oh yeah. So he was hilarious. He was great.
What did he talk about?
He was almost like a stand-up comic. He got up there and talked about how it was his job to lure young boys. He goes, "Yeah, it sounds perverted, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
My job was to lure 1,000 new smokers or 10,000 new smokers a day. I think 1,000 sounds more right. I can't imagine if 10,000 people a day start smoking cigarettes, you get.
Wait, they told him. How would he know if he got 1,000 people to start smoking?
I don't know, but the idea with being the Marlboro Man, to be this tough guy, was to get 1,000 new smokers every single day.
Marlboro Man looked cool, man. He was out in the west of the Rocky Mountains. He had those leather gloves. He's on a horse. He lights up his cigarette. I was like, "Fuck, that's awesome!"
Right. And so that was his job.
How many chicks wanted to be that horse?
And then he eventually had a stroke.
He had a stroke.
He had a stroke, and he lost the feeling in his leg. His daughter couldn't remember which leg was numb, and so she would stab him with a fork. And he goes, "That's the wrong leg."
Wow.
She was trying to test how numb he was.
Yeah. Was he in a wheelchair when he came in?
No, he was limping around the stage, but he was still
talking
the
dangers of smoking.
Yeah, but it's
how much money did he make as a Marlboro Man?
Oh gosh,
it's a little weird now.
Yeah, he made a ton of money. Yeah, from what I remember, But the thing is that when it comes to vaping and all this stuff, I got to understand. Tell me why this looks. I could see. I'm not excusing it, but I could see if somebody was smoking cigarettes and they went to vaping because they have the nicotine in them. They they have to fight that urge, okay? And it's hard. Nicotine is an incredibly addictive substance.
That's why the Zyn.
I mean, for crying out loud, people go to rehab, they stop drinking, but they don't stop smoking.
No.
Okay? So that's why they invented the vape pens, which are just as bad, but why don't you start on that? Because they started inventing these flavors for. You got to try this pineapple.
You
got to try this.
The lithium battery in it, all that stuff.
Maple syrup is great. It's like smoking your breakfast.
But you're not smoking because it's water.
Yeah.
So it's not as toxic to the lungs, I guess, in terms of smoke. But there is the concern over the lithium battery. I'm not as familiar. It's just the same thing throughout time. I think if you go back to when it was Adam and Eve, they I don't know why.
Okay.
Somebody said that today. It's not.
God, wait till we get out of the building.
Somebody said, it's Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, and it just makes me laugh every time I've heard that. But anyway,
it's true though.
I think that teenagers have always wanted to be rebellious.
Mm-hmm. And that's
so
what
do you not want me to do?
Right.
I'm going to do it. It's a cool way to get high, a way to get a little bit of a buzz off nicotine. Maybe it comes in a little more intensely.
Mm-hmm. The other thing
than through a cigarette, it's not as traceable, right? I don't smell like smoke. Well, I used to smoke. My buddy and Michael Murray, who died many years ago in a terrible DWI accident, but he and I used to steal his older brother's cigarettes, and we would run off to the woods. I would come home I would come home. My parents were teachers. They were around kids. They could spot the trouble, like the kids that were kind of, they never, I would run in, brush my teeth, wash my hands, come out, hey, I probably smelled like who knew what. They didn't know.
Right.
They didn't know. But I think the thing with vaping is it's less traceable, right? Mom's not going to smell it on my clothes. I'm not going to have ash. I mean, I remember smoking, thinking I'm all cool, driving a car, the cigarette, and the wind from I had the window down, flips the cigarette, right, and it lands between my back and the car seat. Oh. I wound up having to pull over, take the shirt off. I got a hole in the shirt, a hole in the seat, a hole. Right. It's not happening with a vape pen, man. No. I'm all good.
I remember.
I'm all good.
Back when you and I first started, about 2008, right before I started working with you, I was on PXY at the time, and my then girlfriend, who got moved over to PXY, would vape in the studio. Remember those blue cigarettes? Those those blue.
Yeah, they were called blue.
Blue. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, and she would do it right in this. Like, that's no big deal. And guess what? You can't get in trouble for it because it's not smoking. So you could do it inside. Mm-hmm. And then they put the kibosh on that.
Yeah.
You know
what they say?
What's that?
And I learned this from a very famous radio DJ who started, I believe, at one point was in Rochester. Guy by the name of Greaseman. And I learned from Greaseman, if she smokes, she pokes. That's a great philosophy.
Yeah, I can see that.
If she smokes, she pokes. So I don't know, Danny. I'm not sure.
But she would she'd be so notorious about it. Kind of like, remember like how Morton Downey Jr. was like a notorious. She was like going out of her way to let everybody know, hey, I'm smoking in the studio. Look.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? We are at Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes. The 21st anniversary, all year long. Come down here. 21 years in the hospitality business, when you think about it, is incredible in and of itself. Withstanding COVID, as we talked to Jimmy about, being able to navigate that and to really have a smart business head, right? Jimmy will talk often about living below his means and doing that sort of thing. And hustling. He's really
working like 2 jobs, 7 days a week.
I had somebody write me, and I've been terrible about responding. I've had there's a lot of projects happening, but somebody wrote me, and I'll just address this here. They said, I had my friend Chris Bianchi on, and Chris had, when we were seniors in college, you can go back and listen to the Chris Bianchi Tips for Better Living episode. Chris was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. So, but I didn't remember Chris really going through treatment, and then it turned out he waited till after graduation and did it then. And then as a result of that, was told that the radiation probably would damage his organs, and in 20 or 30 years, he could have some heart problems. And 30 years later, here's this guy who's in pretty good shape and doesn't look his age, just goes down with a heart attack. Now, I say down but not out. Let's put it that way, right? He's up and doing great. But I said, I don't like the term battle. And I like the term living with. And this person wrote me going, I have a real problem with you saying that. I had lymphoma, and it is a battle. It is a battle. And I'm not, that's fine. Here's why I say that. I think if you soften language, if you soften it a little bit, and you say things, well, if you say, I think words have tremendous power. And words are usually the result of our thoughts. Mm-hmm. So, and our thoughts have a lot of power. And I think when you say things like, it's really hard, or it's a little bit harder than I thought, that's softer than hard. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a little bit. You can lessen it. You can lessen it, which almost then in your mind lessens it, which makes it, hey, look, they've done studies. People who are optimistic accomplish way more than people who are pessimistic.
Yes.
Pessimistic people may be more reality-based, but they don't accomplish as much. They've done studies.
Okay, look at Jimmy's parents.
yeah, right.
His mom would have talked him out of it.
Yes,
we
exactly.
failed it 6 times.
Yes, exactly. So that's my only point. But so this person said the battle. Well, my thing would be, even with the grind and all that, I don't like those words. But yes, you have to grind. You have to grind. But how do we say that different? If you can get satisfaction out of it, I'll do things now because I realize I get satisfied. I now stand, I do that cold shower just as an example of the day. I have an app, the Tabata app. I don't know if people know what Tabata exercises are, but basically what it does is it gives you a time, counts it down, you go for a certain amount of time. It can be 1 minute, 5 minutes, whatever, and then it gives you a break, and it counts down your rest, and then you do the next one. You can do like 8 Tabatas in a row, so you can get a nice workout in half hour or whatever. So I have the Tabata app. I have it for boxing stuff, but I'll set it for like 1 minute and 10 seconds. And it gives me the countdown. I'll get in the shower. I'll run the water first, get everything all set, make sure it's really cold. Then I hit the Tabata app. Now I'm naked. I'm in the back of the shower, and I wait, and it counts down. It goes beep,
3,
beep,
2, 1.
beep, work. And I get in there, and I'll tell you, like 1 minute and 10 seconds is a long time to stand there and on my hair. I really want to time it. And I defy you to do that and be mad when you're done. I defy you. There's no...
You feel energized.
It's not that. I start laughing. I fucking laugh. I'm laughing. I'm like, oh, my God, that's fucking crazy. And I grab the towel, and I laugh, and I dry myself off, and I get out. And it's only like 1 minute and 10, and I know people do it for 3, 5 minutes, whatever they do.
I've done like 10, 20-minute cold showers.
I know. It
sucks.
I haven't. I've only done this is freezing cold, and I'll stand in there, and I really, under my, my arms and all this. And my only point is that if you push yourself a little bit... Some people go, why would you torture yourself that way? I feel satisfied after. Yeah. Why would you run? I feel satisfied after, and I feel better, and I've got more energy. Why would you go through whatever job you're doing? Because I feel satisfied. You go with that. Yes, it's a grind, but change your mindset. You can make the whole journey a little bit better. Mm-hmm. That's my only point in changing language.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There you go.
Well, Tony Robbins talks about it all the time.
Does he?
Yeah. Huh. Like, your language is to say, man, this sucks. If you say this is challenging, okay, why is it challenging? Well,
softer.
Then all of a sudden you start to think about, well, if I did this,
right,
and you start thinking about how you can change things and make it easy, not easier.
I apologize. I'm eating my
TVC's.
It's okay. Tater tots.
I got a plate sitting here waiting for me to dive in.
We'll take a.
But yeah, that language really helps. And I'm not saying you could speak stuff into existence. That's not what I'm saying. I don't believe in that.
No.
But what it is making your psyche more adapt to doing the tough things, the harder things.
Yes.
So, man, this sucks. Well, you're already like defeating yourself when you say that.
We will take a moment so you can eat your plate. I'm going to eat my Jimmy Z burger, some of the tots here. Jimmy Z's plates and shakes.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong. I
love
it. A famous wrestler's son got arrested in November.
Yeah.
And I have some audio from his DWI I love this.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic. And then another city, but I think this is a problem around the country. 911 calls that shouldn't be 911 calls.
I saw this
If I got the stats right, this city had over 1 million calls to 911, but only 45,000. 1 million, only 45,000, not 500,000, which would be half. 45,000 were considered legitimate emergencies, and of those,
4.5%,
less than 1,000 were shootings or stabbings. 900,
yes,
but that's still a lot. But you'll hear some of these 911 calls, and what alternatives do we have for that? It's all happening live from Jimmy Z's Plates and Shakes on Main Street in Brockport. Next.